Welcome, everybody, to Unlocking BrainPOP's new power tools. We're super excited that you are here joining us today. How many of you, quick thumbs up or dropping it in the chat, are familiar with the new changes that BrainPOP has made this year? Have you all seen the changes? Some of them? All right. Well, we're gonna dive deep into these changes. Talk about it. I'm going to talk about one of my favorite tools in BrainPOP, and we're going to also talk about how you can assign things in BrainPOP to hold your students accountable. So we're going to start out with this quick little video. Let's hope it works. Let's see. There we go. All right, so that was just a quick little overview of the new tools that are available in BrainPOP. And in case you didn't see what those were, they have the movies with pause point. They have leveled readers, vocabulary builder, and enhanced quizzes, and a few more things. Now, just to reiterate, this is for third through fifth grade only at this time, at least at elementary. They released these new updates over the summer, and they took the most used videos to start with to add these new pieces. And so they're working through as many videos as they can to add these. So you still might see some videos out there that don't have all these pieces, but know that they are working on them, trying to make them build better. Like I just can't, I get a little nerdy over BrainPOP because I've been using it forever. Back when you could get a license for your campus for $800. That's how long it's been. Now it's quite a few thousands now, but yeah, it's been around for a long time and they just keep getting better and better. So I'm gonna kind of walk you through all of these and then give you some time to explore. Then I'm gonna share a student view with you and a teacher view with you, um, and also talk to you about the assignment builder. So movies with pause points is new. You still have the regular BrainPOP movies, but the pause points, if you're familiar with Ed Puzzle or even some of the Screencastify videos now, you can embed a pause point to have your students stop and think about their learning. Sometimes there's little questions like this one that's a multiple choice. Sometimes they're open-ended. You also have the option to turn off the pause point if you don't want to use those in any particular movie. And I really like, if you weren't familiar with this, that you can also download a transcript of that movie for your students that might need to follow along um, looking at the transcript. So definitely something worth checking out there with the pause points. Now they also have incorporated leveled readers for each one of these newly enhanced movies. Notice here, this leveled reader has 3 questions. It tells you how long it's going to be. And they have 3 different Lexile levels. I didn't include the third one because that's like for 7th grade and beyond. But the Lexile 1 aligns with 3rd through 4th grade. And then you have Lexile 2, which is 5th through 6th. And these are great. They're all nonfiction passages that align to the topic, and you can assign them in practice or graded mode. And then you have the vocabulary builder. So it's tier 2 words. They love how they'll tell you how to pronounce the word, what the definition is. They use it in a sentence, and you're going to use context clues to figure it out. But then they also have a second part to this, like where they might have antonyms and synonyms, and you're dragging and dropping. So it's really helping build that conceptual understanding of these new vocabulary words they're being exposed to. And then the grade level quiz. So the grade level quiz has always been there. But what's great about this, so if I'm assigning the Civil War to my class, I can assign it to my students in different groups. So if I have students that are working on level, I could create an assignment for them in BrainPOP, and I could give them everything at a 5th grade level. But I also have the option to assign this same topic, but at a 3rd grade level. So the reading level changes for the quiz. It can change for the leveled readers, all of those things. The content is still the same, but you can DI it for the different needs of your students. And that's great because that aligns with T-tests. You can show where you're using BrainPOP, especially BrainPOP, to DI your instruction. And so notice here, you also have that option for practice mode and graded mode. And they also have the immersive reader built in. And I'll demo this in a little bit. So if your students are struggling with the text, it'll read it to them. And you also have the option to change languages as well. So, and how many of you are familiar with the assignment builder? Have y'all ever used the assignment builder to assign things to your work students? Okay, this is where the power, this has been here for a while, but most teachers didn't know about it. So instead of just giving your students a link to a BrainPOP movie and the quiz, you can assign things specifically to your students. So if you want to assign the movie, you can assign the movie. So notice right here, I can assign the movie, or I can do the movie with pause points. I can also decide what grade level movie I want them to have access to. Same thing with vocabulary builder. I can give them a grade level option, and then it continues to build. So, this one section is just all on building knowledge. Then you have an apply and assess section, and then you have deepen and the typo, extend. And you can add projects like make a movie or creative coding. So ideally, like if I had a student that was, or a team that was working at grade level, I would go and assign it to all of them. And then if I had a group that was working below level, I would create a second assignment for them, and I would be able to filter who would receive that assignment. And then you could even create a third group if you wanted to, for those students that are working above level, and maybe you're giving them different activities or maybe a different project than the other group had. So the best part about all of this is the accountability. It's more than just the video. And I think that's how a lot of us use it, right? The students just watch a video. They might take a quiz. You walk around, you're trying to record their scores. But with this, you can assign it, and BrainPOP will run reports that show you how they did on every one of those activities. But yeah, this is that accountability piece that I think most teachers are missing when it comes to BrainPOP. We pay a lot for this BrainPOP subscription, and we use it at a very low level. And so I really wanted to show teachers how you could harness everything that BrainPOP has to offer and really use it to hold the students accountable. Like they love the videos, but they know, like, hey, it's not a big deal. The teacher's just going to walk around, write down my grade, right? This way you're giving them specific assignments that are tailored to their needs. And these are great to throw into your playlist if you're doing playlist or choice boards, to use in your lessons, and you're really guiding what the students should be doing. And then I'm going to show you Make a Movie. So I told you I was going to show you another tool. So Make a Movie is a feature in BrainPOP. The students create their own movies within BrainPOP. And so when I'm assigning things to students, I could assign Make a Movie as that opportunity for them to develop and extend their thinking. And because I chose Civil War, it's going to automatically filter pictures that relate to the Civil War. So the students don't even have to go and look for pictures unless there's something specific. And just like with any Brain Pop movie, they're going to start out with a letter. They can choose a letter that was already written by Brain Pop, or they can create their own. And they're just going to build this out with different scenes. And they can have up to 20 scenes in one movie. They can add backgrounds, they can add sound, so they can record themselves reading, like having those conversations with Moby, just like, Tim does. They can annotate on top of their pictures. They can even draw on top of their pictures. So it's really a great way for them to practice their communication skills, collaboration skills. They need to develop a storyboard to align their thoughts and ideas. And so students really love it. And I wanted to make sure I showed it to you because if you haven't used it, I would definitely think about how you could incorporate this into a project that you have coming up. I did include this how-to guide that walks you through all the steps. It's not very long at all, but I wanted to show you. This was a video that was created by a second grader last year, and they were doing animal research in the library. And one of their project options was to either use BrainPOP, Book Creator, or they could do like a hands-on project. And quite a few of the kids decided to do BrainPOP. And so they just really jumped right in and had fun. So let me just show you this.
Dear Mewling and Moby, I would like to learn more about macaws. Can you teach me from a friend? Macaws are very colorful birds. The colorful of the macaw are red, yellow, and blue. Macaws are 30 to 101 inches long. Macaws lay eggs in the spring, and they protect their eggs. Macaws are members of the parrot family. They are omnivores that eat fruit and nuts and insects and snails. Macaws live up to 30.
I'll go ahead and stop it there. But you can kind of see the gist of her own little Brain Pop movie. And they were so excited to be able to create their own movies. And with the question, we kind of guided them with the question. It was their first time, and we just wanted them to share what they were learning. But think about if you're studying, let's say, the Civil War, and they would create a video that, maybe talks about what were the differences between the North and the South. Or, even thinking science, like they could create their own water cycle videos or anything on, let's say, the wetlands. There's just so many options, but I love that the students are being able to communicate and create and showcase their learning. And I don't think we give them enough opportunities to do that. So before I go any further, what do y'all think so far? Have you seen something that you didn't know about that you're interested in exploring further? Do that. There is creative coding, so that's another one of those extensions that's available through BrainPOP. And so they can use scratch coding or vid coding. One is block-based and one is text-based. And it's, for your students that are very analytical, they love the creative coding. You have two different options, one for your little right brain thinkers and one for your left brain thinkers. And it's interesting to see which avenue students choose. Like some will go with the coding and some will go with the movie. And so just offering them that opportunity to really highlight what speaks to them. All right, so I'm going to go to my portal. And on my portal, your portal, all of the students' portals, they should have access to BrainPOP. And it is already synced to our grade, not to the grade books, to SIS. And so everything is already populated for you. There's no reason for you to create an account or your students to create an account. It's just that easy. I'm going to go ahead and if you notice, I'm going to scroll down and right here I'm on grade 5. So it's already going to show me their new movies that are aligned to grade 5. And they tried to kind of organize them by month. If I change this to November, it's going to show me voting. And you can see like this is a leveled one. So it has all of those things we just talked about, even US Constitution, bullying. So if are videos for your grade level that have already been leveled, this is the easiest place to find them. If I just go do a BrainPOP cert, um, I'm going to have to go through quite a few, but I can just continue to go through this and find ones that align. So I'm just going to stay here and just do matter changing states. I'm going to click on the title. So it'll open up that BrainPOP movie. And notice I can see everything right here. These are all those new components. And just like I was showing you a while ago, when I click on each one, I can choose the grade level. So this matter changing states, it's only available either in 5th or 6th or 7th and through 8th. I can look at the pause points to see what they are, to see if those are appropriate for my students. Notice you can also, oh, this is new. I hadn't seen this where I could even click to see this in Spanish. So if we have any bilingual campuses present, you can see that as well. And what's great is they've even aligned this to our standards. Oh, of course, I picked the one movie that is they've finished aligning it, of course. So, but notice you can see all of those things here, and you can also view it as a student if you want to see. Now, this one also has an immersive reader in it. So notice right here, this little immersive reader icon shows up. So if a student was having a hard time with these pause points, they could click on the immersive reader and it'll read those pause points to them.
What is matter? Anything with particles that increase in size as it heats up. Anything that has mass and
So that's pretty cool, right? Sometimes that keeps you from having to go around to every student who needs help and having to read that to them. But it gets better. Do any of y'all have students that speak a language other than English? Maybe Spanish or Japanese. Ainelli, what you're shaking your head. What would be a language for your
I
class?
have a lot of students that speak Arabic.
Arabic. Okay, so watch. I'm going to go here to reading preferences. And I'm going to go down. Notice right here on translate, it's already on Pashto, but I could go to Arabic. And I'm just going to do Saudi Arabian. And I could do by document. And now it's going to translate this to Arabic. So it would read those pause points to them. Now the video is still going to be in English, but at least the questions would be in Spanish. And so in Spanish, sorry, in Arabic. And the students could listen to that. But what's really neat too is if I hover over a word, it's going to tell me what it is in that language and what it is. So they can make those adjustments. But watch, if I go back, let me see if I switch back to the original and I hover, then it's going to say it in English and Arabic. So maybe your students, can read some of it in English, but they just might need help with a few words. They have that option too. So the immersive reader is really a neat feature. It's also available in Schoology. So if you're not familiar with it in Schoology, I would definitely suggest you reach out to your tech coach so you could get support with how you could use that in Schoology. Now here is the quiz. And so I think we're all familiar with the quiz, but I love with this that you can do the practice mode and the graded mode. And when I show you the assignment builder in a minute, you could start out with the practice mode before they even watch the movie, just to kind of develop their level of understanding, and then have them take the graded mode later. The immersive reader is also here, but notice again, this is also leveled. And so maybe with this one, I might offer 2 different assignments, one for my students working on level and one for my students who maybe could do it with a little more rigor and give them the sixth grade. All right, and then there's the vocabulary builder. And notice I'm just going to go ahead and click start. So this one has at least 5 different vocabulary words they're going to work on. If I click on artificial, again, it gives me all of that, the definition, using it in a sentence, and I can try the activity. And this is a drag and drop for synonyms and antonyms. So definitely a lot more than just a movie. And then, of course, you have the leveled readers. So again, practice mode, graded mode. I love how they're telling you about how long this activity is going to take. So you can decide, if this is something you're going to have your students work at over the course of the day, or maybe it's something, like I said, you put in a playlist and they're working through these throughout the week. And notice you can also print out a blank activity. Let's see what this looks like of what's in that leveled reader as well. So if some students might struggle with reading this on the computer, but at least you could give them this as well, or you could use this for a little star practice and have them go back and read the passage before they answer the questions and use whatever strategies you might have them use. So what do y'all think? It's a lot more than just a video these days, right? So now let me show you if I want to assign this to my students. Notice right here, I have the option to create an assignment. And all of the activities that align with the assignment will show up here. So here again, building knowledge, we have that movie and the movie with pause points, the vocabulary builder, and you can choose as many or as few things as you want. You don't have to automatically assign all of these things. And maybe some students might be able to handle 4 of these, but you have some students who you just want them to be able to do 2. Right? Like if they watch the video, take the quiz, and maybe the vocabulary, that'd be great. But for some students, maybe you want to give them that option to do the extension projects as well. So notice as I go through this, I'm going to choose the movie with pause points. I can choose my grade level. I'm going to do the vocabulary builder. I'm going to do the quiz, but I want to do both modes. And so I want them to do the practice, and then I want them to go back and take the real test. And then maybe we're going to do the leveled reader, but I just want to do graded mode. And maybe I'm just going to skip the make a movie. I'm going to go ahead and click next. So here on your view, this is where you would see your students, and you could select if all of your students got this or just a select group of students. Now, because I've already chosen the assignments, this is where I was talking about earlier. If you had like 2 distinct groups, you would select them for one assignment and give it a different title, like that would be your group A, and then you would rebuild the assignment for your group B. Because you can't say, okay, I want the leveled reader for this one on grade 5, but then I want, different. It's easier to kind of group them so you can assign that work. Does that make sense? All right. Thank you for shaking your head because sometimes I question what I'm saying. I'm going to go ahead and click next. You could give it a title. So again, I could just call this, States and Matter. And I'm just going to put A for that one group. I could give them instructions. I can give them a due date or even schedule it for later. So maybe I'm working on something today, but I don't want my students to see it until next week. And notice here, remember I was talking about those quizzes and I wanted them to take the practice quiz. I could do the practice quiz. I can just click and drag and put that practice quiz first and then do the graded quiz at the end after they've gone through all of those things. So you can organize this in any way that you want. And then, this is where you choose that class list. And then I would just click assign, and I can't assign to anybody, but that's how you do it. And so what's neat is now when the students log into BrainPOP, they're going to see that you've assigned them work. And I'm going to go back and just show you real quick, and then I'm going to give you some time to kind of explore to see if you can find a lesson that you might be able to use in the upcoming weeks. So I was able to capture some student views and some teacher views so you can kind of see what this looks like on the other end of things. When the students log in, when they first launch it, they're going to see all of their different courses that are associated with their name, just so you know. And then once they click on any one of those courses, they get these 3 tabs at the top for assignments, projects, and timeline. And so notice right now, this is just defaulted to all classes. And I can see that the student had an assignment called Thanksgiving and that they completed it. But once we click on Thanksgiving, you can see all the different flavors of that lesson that he was assigned. So you can see that they had the movie. You can see that they did the vocabulary builder and they did the quiz. And it even shows them the results. Now, one of the things that I've learned is it shows the student scores like this, just as a regular number. On the teacher end, you can turn it on where you see an actual grade, but apparently that doesn't change anything on the student's end. All they see is this. So, but he was complaining about it. I'm like, hey, sounds like a math lesson. What is 5 divided by 2.17? Let's see if we can figure out your grade. And then this one, he also had a make a movie project that was also completed. So that's what it kind of looks on the student end. But on the teacher end, once you log in and you click on your dashboard, you'll see all of the assignments that you've shared with your students. And you'll see like this was assigned Thanksgiving, how many have done it and how many have not done it. And then if you go a little further, you can see their progress. So this is just, I protected the innocent. I hid the students' names and everything, but you could see how they were doing on each one of the assignments. You can even highlight their scores below a certain percentage. You can reassign. So if a student didn't take that particular assignment seriously, you can reassign it and have them start over. This is where you can change from percent to points, so you can see it and get a grade that you could put in the grade book. You also have the option for activity progress. You can filter down by each type of activity to see how they've done, if they've started it, what their score is. And then if that particular topic has standards aligned with it, it'll even show you those different standards. So this, was that Thanksgiving story. And so it was aligned with some language arts teams. And so you can see how they did on that altogether. So I bet you didn't know BrainPOP could do all of that, right? Are you ready to learn? Are you ready to use it this way now to kind of build that accountability piece with your students to hold them, I guess more accountable, for lack of a better word. All right, I'm going to go ahead where it's right at 4 o'clock. I'm going to give you about 10 minutes to explore and kind of go and see what type of videos are out there that align with your curriculum. And then we'll come back and share some of the things you noticed or things that you're excited about. And if we have any questions or anything, have I missed anything, Nina?
No, you haven't missed anything.
Okay, perfect. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and set a 10-minute timer and give you some time to go through this. And we'll be here if you have any questions. So what is it that you, now that you've had time to explore, what is it you're most excited about? Maybe that you can't wait to go and show your team about BrainPOP, something new that you learned or something that you can't wait to try with your students. You can drop it in the chat or come off of mute. Movie making.
Movie making, yeah.
I love the make a movie.
That's a good one. I want to see that in action. Maybe, Melissa, you can invite me in when you do it.
Mm-hmm. And what's neat is you can download it when they're done, and then you could share it with parents, whether that's, whatever your communication or messaging, whether it's Seesaw or Dojo, you can get that link or download it as an MP4 and share it with parents as well.
Lots of good answers in the chat. We have standards-based assessments and the videos by the kids. And then also some blended learning campuses, the activities to add to playlists such as movie making, coding.
Lots of opportunities, right?
We're excited about the leveled readers.
Yay.
Lots of good stuff.
Good. I'm excited that y'all are excited. And so think about all of this. Think about, I know we just came off a break and we're all counting down the days to the next break. But, I challenge you to create an intention, whether that's using this next week in a playlist or maybe waiting till January, but really thinking about how you can take all these amazing BrainPOP tools. And I didn't even ask, I hope everybody here is in 3rd through 5th grade, but even if you're not, showing teachers in the lower grades, they also can use that assignment builder to assign work to students. And I just think that's something that's really overlooked when it comes to BrainPOP, that we use it at such a surface level. But I think it's a real game changer being able to assign the different components to students and making them accountable so that they don't think it's just another movie that they're watching. So if we don't have any other questions, I've gone through everything that I want to go through. Does anybody else have any other questions or things about BrainPOP that they want to know? You will be getting a copy of this recording as well as the slides. So if you want to be able to share this with your team or with others on campus, you'll have access to everything today. And then I also, let me see, hold on one second. I'm going to be sending you something fun in the pony. They're BrainPOP stickers that I created from their site. So I'm going to be sending you some BrainPOP stickers for you to have, as well as the things that will be emailed you. So let us know how we can help you, how we can support you. Nina's going to drop the link, and I'm going to put it up here on the slide as well. For today's evaluation, we appreciate you being here.